God dag, hur mår du? That's good day, how are you in Swedish. And from what I have read, most people in Sweden would probably reply with Väldigt bra tack, which is very well, thank you. The reason Swedes are often seen as a nation that is feeling very well is a concept called in the Scandinavian languages friluftsliv, which roughly translates as open air living. You see, the Swedes, the Finns, the Norwegians and the Danes enjoy their outdoor pursuits whatever the weather, and the weather in Scandinavia is pretty cold in winter with lots of snow. This word friluftsliv was made popular by a poet in the mid-19th century, and he described how spending time outdoors in remote locations was good for spiritual and physical well-being. In the UK, as a comparison, it seems that in wintertime most people tend to stay at home whenever they can in the warm. Dog walkers are the exception to this. The other exception is the pub and shopping centres, but in these cases the people are not enjoying this idea of friluftsliv, open air living, as they are in the pub or in a shopping centre, neither of which enrich your spiritual or physical well-being, although I suppose some may disagree with the pub. So let's consider why Scandinavians enjoy their outdoor lifestyle so much. Two reasons, I think. Firstly, Scandinavia is a large landmass, over 1 million square kilometres, but it has a small population, less than 30 million. If we compare that to the UK, it has a size of less than 250,000 square kilometres, but a population of over 60 million. So Scandinavia is about 4 times bigger than Britain, but has half the population. This obviously suggests that there is more open space for the Scandinavians to be outdoors, enjoying their outdoor pursuits. In fact, the countries in Scandinavia have similar laws, they share these laws, which allow people to walk and set up a tent more or less anywhere, as long as they show respect for the local nature and people. So they make it easy for people to get out and about in the countryside. Again, I'll draw a comparison to the UK. In Scotland, which has some absolutely glorious countryside, one of the famous lochs, Loch Lomond, and the surrounding national park, the Trossachs National Park, had to put restrictions on wild camping in 2017 because too many people were leaving too much mess, which of course spoils the experience for those who follow afterwards. So to tackle this problem, the Scottish authorities introduced a system where people wishing to camp in certain areas at popular times of the year need to buy themselves a permit for £3 to go camping. This kind of restriction is introduced to minimise the damage done in some popular areas because of the high number of visitors. Scandinavia, with a much smaller population, doesn't have these issues, so the countryside remains totally free for everyone all of the time. If I compare that to the area where I live, there are quite a few parks and open spaces, and there are many public footpaths that I can use that go across fields that are agricultural, hence they're owned by farmers. But many of these paths are not well maintained, and I can't let my dog run free because of the farm animals, and the walk is often just to go there and come back rather than a circular walk. So it seems therefore that the Scandinavians have better opportunities to enjoy their outdoor lifestyle. Now, the Swedish Statistics Agency suggests that around a third of Swedes take part in outdoor activities at least once a week, and more than half of the population have access to a countryside or coastal summer house, which obviously promotes outdoor living. But I thought those figures were quite low actually. Only a third of people do outdoor activities once a week. Now, interestingly, in comparison, the UK government published a study in 2016 about the amount of time the UK population spends on outdoor leisure. Apparently 58% of the population claim to have at least one leisure trip to the outdoors every week, and they did that in the space of 1 calendar year. So we could conclude that people in Britain spend more time on outdoor leisure in the countryside than the Swedes do. But in the case of Britain, about half of the visits to the outdoors were to towns and cities. The report does not say if these were mostly shopping visits, but I'm guessing they were. So there is for me a difference between spending time outdoors in the countryside and outdoors in urban areas. The idea of friluftsliv describes spending time outdoors in remote locations for spiritual and physical well-being, not in urban areas. Therefore, I think this report from the UK government in 2016 has been reported in a way which makes it look like the British are getting more spiritual and physically healthy. But actually, if you look at the report carefully, you find that it probably isn't quite the case. Driving to the next town and walking around the shops for an hour doesn't improve your spiritual well-being. And I think a lot of others find this sort of trip actually quite stressful and annoying. I think then we need to ask what other countries can learn from Scandinavian countries, which consistently come at or near the top of the OECD lifestyle satisfaction rankings. Well, these Scandinavian countries do a number of things, and I'll quickly list the ones that I'd like to see in the UK. Employees in many Scandinavian countries are encouraged to spend time outside during the working week. They have time blocked off for outdoor activities. Many employees enjoy the benefits of flexible working hours, and in some cases shorter working hours each week. And many also enjoy subsidies on buying sports equipment, and there are incentives for employees who cycle or walk to work. I'd certainly like that one. These four things are all related to work-life balance, but even a little more than that. They encourage people not only to balance their working life and their free time, but also to use their free time in healthy ways, not sitting watching the TV. So to conclude, the message to me seems clear. Get outdoors in the countryside as much as you can, because it's good for you. Thank you.